Next on BNI Mid-America TV, it's the Gold Club Member Spotlight Show. Gold Club members have sponsored 6 or more people into BNI, and they are here to share their secrets with you. If you want to improve your inviting techniques, then this is the show for you. And now, our host, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of BNI Mid-America TV. This is the Gold Club Member Spotlight Show. I'm your host, Jennie Bellinger, and I am here today with someone who is very special in our BNI Mid-America region, because not only is she one of our executive directors, one of our area directors, she is also a member of BNI Mid-America. Please welcome Virginia Muzquiz.
Hey, Jennie, long time no talk.
I know, like 10 minutes. So Virginia, thanks so much for being here. You are one of our longest standing members. You've been a part of BNI now for over 20 years, correct?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
22 this year.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Hey. So you are now a member, which is probably news to some people here in our region as they're watching this, because they did not know that you are a member. So can you give us a brief backstory of what caused you to become a member of our local region again?
Well, I'll start back in 1999 at a post office. I was a Mary Kay lady, and I walked up to a lady and said, "Hi, I'm Virginia, Mary Kay, blah, blah, blah. Would you give me your opinion of this lipstick?" And her name was Sue White, and she was a farmer's insurance agent. And she ended up inviting me to the BNI Forest Park chapter, which is no longer, but that was how I started. I warm chattered in a post office and ended up in BNI. But most recently, as an executive director, I had stepped out when Victor and I invested in the regions. And I have been saying for a really long time that if you can do it in BNI, or it can happen to you in BNI, I've been there. And well, somebody pointed out to me that I'd never been a founding member of a chapter. And I said, oh, okay. So I was like, fine, then let me go ahead and have that experience. So we have been building Platinum Referral Partners for 8 weeks. We're at 15 members, and we will be launching, getting on to Connect in May, and then we'll charter with 50 members 90 days from there. So that's what we're doing.
Super exciting. And so you, which business are you representing in your chapter?
My Master Connectors Consulting company. So we help 6-figure solo entrepreneurs get off the revenue roller coaster, create consistent cash flow, and build a business that aligns with their purpose and their passion. So they have the money to do what matters and the time to enjoy it.
Perfect. And so how do you typically help these entrepreneurs?
I work them through a step-by-step process. We work on vision, we work on goals. We take a broad spectrum look at our relational assets, our social capital assets. Like, what do we have that we can offer one another? What kind of stuff do we have to help us make money? Is our pricing right? What is a strategy for positioning ourselves in the marketplace? And then working on mindset. Most often we use word of mouth marketing. Obviously, it's my jam. So I show people how to use high level referral strategies to fill their funnels to begin with. And then we start to talk about, online websites, social media, and all that kind of stuff.
That is awesome. And let's jump back here. In all transparency, I've been a member of Master Connectors for 3 years now. And all of those things that you talked about and how you help people, it's more than that. There's also connections that happen through the process, right? And that's one thing I want people to understand about that is it's not just about the things that you do with Virginia. It's the people that you end up getting connected to as you go through the process, which is phenomenal. They're some of my favorite human beings in the whole wide world.
Well, and the interesting thing about it, Jennie, is that, BNI is not for everybody, number one. So you're going to meet people for whom BNI, for whatever reason, it doesn't make sense. Now, I'm international. So I've got people in Ireland. I've got people in the UK. I've got people in Canada. I've got people in Israel. I have people from all over the world, some of them BNI members, some of them not. So that's number one. And number two, I also think that, referrals are like chess. You can buy the box, that's a membership in something. You can learn how to move the pieces. And that's one of the big distinctions between BNI and most networks, right? Is that you kind of figure out like, oh, this is how you move that castle thing. And this is how the horsey moves. And oh, wait, they all have names, right? Like those things have names. They're not like the horsey thing or the tall thing with the pointy thing. And they have a name and they move in certain ways. And so BNI really teaches you how to move, like master the moving parts. And what I aim to do is help people really get hold of the Queen's Gambit, the high level strategies, the multiple move strategies that you can use to make things happen. And then when you're in a room full of people that speak the same language, they know all your acronyms, they understand the strategy, you just get paid more to play. So
that's super cool. So knowing all of this, what has been your best BNI success story so far?
Well, other than you, I have to tell you, my most proud one actually is a BNI member who I'm just going to not name because I don't have permission right now to share this to the BNI network at large, but as a BNI member. And when they started, they were sort of positioned in a way that was against their competition instead of positioning themselves in a way that made them stand out as a class of one. So what we did was we shifted the messaging from I'm just like all these people to I'm nothing like these people. And in fact, if you are a busy professional, stop wasting time with all those other people, come see me. And the result of that in less than 18 months has been 110% increase in weekly appointments, a 130% increase in revenue generated per hour, so hourly wage, but most importantly, almost tripling revenue, growth of business, getting a new space, hiring an assistant, and really being able to grab their life back by the horns and create a business that is running like the rocket fuel for their life instead of running a business grinding away and barely keeping it above water. So that has been really for me the crowning joy is to actually work with somebody who keeps their stats. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's helpful when you've got someone who can say, oh, by the way, here's how much I used to get paid and here's how much I get paid now. Here's how many clients I used to have. Here's how many clients I have now, right? Yeah. To go from you could count your number of clients on one hand to being able to say, I've got a full calendar.
Yeah. And right now they just shared with me yesterday, I spoke with them yesterday or day before, and they shared that like they need to hire a part-time person to cover, they have more clients than they can deliver. So they're looking to hire someone part-time to come in and take off some of that load. So that's really exciting. When you see somebody come through a coaching program and get results, and I'm all about that. Probably the biggest pet peeve I have in the coaching industry, and you're with me on this, right? Like we stand shoulder to shoulder. Like, what is all this trying to get people on board and then not seeing them through to a result? I don't get that.
Yeah.
So
definitely agree with that. Now, you've been a member of the Gold Club for how long now?
Oh, I think I became a Gold Club member in 2004 or 2005 when I was the president of Referral Builders.
There you go. And what would you say has been the biggest benefit for you of being in the Gold Club for 15, 16 years now?
Influence, I think. In the region, I don't know if locally people really understand what it is to sponsor 6 members and what that means. But when you think about bringing in 6 new members, the average BNI member stays about 3 years and brings, I don't know, let's just say 150 referrals to the table. And then you do all the math, blah, 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 and the cascades. And, it comes out to hundreds of thousands of dollars that you get to contribute to the network by doing that. Not only that, being able to have people say, I'm really grateful. Like, I'm so grateful to Sue White for that day in the post office because I'm a member of BNI. My whole life, the whole pathway of my life shifted that day. But I think outside of the region, when you go to national conventions, when you go to international conventions and people see that Gold Club badge, people seek you out and they ask, like, tell me about that. How did you do it? You're a little bit of BNI royalty, and you know me and attention. So But I do think that, and I think also the benefit of being able to network and know who the creme de la creme are, who are the recruiters, who are the people that are out there networking and influencing people to take action on their personal and professional growth, I think is huge.
I would definitely agree with that. My own experience in Gold Club has been that the referrals that I get from Gold Club members almost always close.
Mm-hmm.
Almost always close. It's much higher than the BNI average of 70%. It's much closer to probably 90% or 95% for me personally. So I definitely love that. So last thing is what is one piece of actionable advice you would give to a BNI member who is wanting to maybe get into the Gold Club? What can they do to start working their way towards the sponsoring of 6 members?
Well, I would have to say, listen to the Business by Referral podcast episode with Andrew Gibson from the UK, because he's brilliant. But in summary, we make inviting like this big deal as if we're like asking someone to donate a kidney, right? Like, well, that takes some thought, right? Like, do I want to? Should I? Whatever. Do I know you well enough? Like, man, just say to people like, hey, you want to come and meet a bunch of my referral partners? When you're in a normal conversation, just saying, hey, I'd like to introduce you to some people. What are you doing Tuesday morning at 7? It's not that big a deal. Now, here's the deal. Some people will say, yeah, that sounds great. Some people will be like, is it BNI? And when anybody gives me that face, I say, uh-oh, sounds like you had an experience. What happened? They tell me the whole experience. I say, yeah, if that had happened to me, I'd be a little sour too. Fortunately, my referral partners don't treat each other that way. So you want to come? And that's really it. We get stymied by the fact that someone had a negative experience with someone. There are 1,000 people in the network in the bi-state area, and somebody had one negative interaction with one person, and suddenly BNI is poopy. And that doesn't make sense to me. So I just say, yep, that your experience really did stink. And fortunately, I'm not in relationship with people who act like that. And I would love to introduce you. Why don't you just come and then don't come again if you didn't like it, which is a Mark Breimer, right?
Yeah.
Mark Breimer says, oh, you don't want to join? That's cool. Don't come twice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why he's such a prolific inviter. And that's why he's sponsored over 24 members in his 10-year tenure with BNI, because he's not really invested in whether they join. They could join. They're in a profession that the chapter needs, that like all of the soil is fertile, but he's unapologetic, and he's not really invested in whether or not they say yes. He just wants to get them to the table and introduce them to the team. So
right.
I think that's the key.
And I think that says a lot about how someone feels about their chapter, because then they're able to say, hey, look, I'm willing to bring them to the table, and I trust that you guys are going to help take care of them in such a way that they want to come back and eat at the table with all of us. Right.
Yeah. And you know what? If your smorgasbord isn't tasty, then you need to have a one-to-one with a director or with an area director or somebody to say, I really do want to invite people to my chapter, but there are a couple of things right now that just make me hesitate. So if your reason is there's some weird stuff going on at, in your dining room,
yeah,
well, take care of it. Like, take some initiative, take some action, and take care of it, because at the end of the day, your referral partners will thank you for up-leveling the giver's gain and the VCP of your chapter as a whole, I think. And we're, as directors, this, Jenny, we're all here to help. And so be a leader.
Yeah. I mean, people in the world are always looking for someone to follow. And so if you get to be that person that people start to follow, that shows a level of influence, that shows a level of expertise, and that just helps make your whole business experience, and especially your BNI experience, much better. So Virginia, thank you so much for being here today. I know how incredibly busy you are with being an executive director, an area director, and running your own business. And you just decided to throw in and start a chapter of your own too.
Yeah.
So
it's just great.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge and expertise with all of our viewers right now.
You are welcome. Thanks, Jenny.
For more information on how BNI can help you build your business, book your complimentary consultation with Virginia Muzquiz at discoverbnimitamerica.com. BNI Mid-America TV is brought to you by the Bergman Insurance Group, your trusted source for Medicare information, education, and enrollment. Be sure to check out the show notes for additional information on how to contact today's host or guest about their business, and thanks for watching.